Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We have Craig and Ale here in the studio. We also have Frank Leboeuf joining us too to answer your questions. All right. Ale, are you surprised by Madrid's domination of City today? Now that Real Madrid finally have the right players in the right positions, they looked terrific.
I'll answer the question. No, I was not surprised. If you watched the game last week, you would have known that 3-2 really flattered Manchester City. There were chances everywhere for Real Madrid. And coming into this match, the expectation would have been, I think the expectations would have been that we would be closer to Real Madrid blowing out Manchester City than Manchester City actually coming back. It's too good of a matchup for Real Madrid in terms of what they can do offensively, and more to the point, the things that Manchester City cannot do defensively.
Craig, if you were Endrick or Arda Guler...
No, I wouldn't go out on loan.
And you know that Mbappe, Vini and Rodrigo will be starters for the next 5 years. Are you not going to look for a new club or at least a loan move in the summer transfer
the next 5 years? That's a bit of an outlook. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a big... We've had this discussion before, and the problem is, for them, is that they're very useful to have, and we've talked a lot about injuries this year. So at times, a lot of squads, and Real Madrid's is the same, has been a little threadbare. So those players have been able to make an impact along with Brahim Diaz from the bench. So then you're in a difficult position as a club and as a manager. Do I let them go out on loan, or do I keep them here to help make an impact, or even play, be it the Copa del Rey or in other games where you want to rest Vinicius or Mbappe? So that's a difficult scenario. It doesn't really help the players, but they're definitely not going to get a lot of game time if these guys stay fit.
The next question is for Ale, but given Frank's history with this club and his negativity usually towards them, I thought we should start with him. Can we now say Real Madrid are favourites to win the Champions League, Frank?
Yes, and I said it 2 days ago. I think one of the guys, or maybe the two guys, can witness that, because I said Liverpool, Real Madrid, and I said Bayern Munich. But Real Madrid, yes, because you cannot forget what they were capable of doing even when they weren't good. And I was giving the example of the year they won against Liverpool, and they beat Chelsea, Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain, where everybody saw that they should have been beaten, but because of their character, their stamina, they came back and they won. And they won the final, rightly so. But you cannot say, because it would be disrespectful, that Real Madrid cannot win and is not the favorite of any Champions League every time they play it.
Okay.
Now, did you notice the backhanded compliment there?
Yeah.
In which it said they went on to win it, but they should have been eliminated by this team, and this team. So it's love, but not really.
No, he just spat when he's off camera as well, I heard it.
Yeah.
It's fact. It's only fact.
Ale, Atletico...
I'm just watching Peter Bosch in the screen behind it. And
I'm glad you're taking notice and you're engaged in the show tonight.
And it has occurred to me, not just because I'm watching a Peter Bosch presser that you can't see at home, there's a lot of bald managers around, isn't there? I know it's a bit of a random statement, but, you know.
Bald is beautiful, Craig.
I would say so, yes. Yes, indeed. I agree wholeheartedly.
Atletico or Leverkusen, which team will be tougher for Real Madrid in the round of 16?
I would say Atletico Madrid. It's more uncomfortable for Real Madrid. I think they would prefer to play Bayer Leverkusen, whereas maybe at the very best, Bayer Leverkusen is a better team than Atletico Madrid. I just think that the rivalry would make this game far more about the physicality and the fight and Vini and the fans. And if it is about playing, then it becomes about the talent of Real Madrid. And then Vini focuses on playing, and Mbappe focuses on actually getting in behind and scoring goals. And Rodrigo, same thing. Instead of focusing on Simeone and the rivalry and here and there and everywhere, instead of playing, I think they would prefer to play Bayer Leverkusen.
Craig, Man City's problems are obviously more than just Rodri being out for the season. With De Bruyne looking like he won't be back next year, how many players does City need to challenge for the title next season?
Who's back? So they're probably... They need a right back. They need Rodri back. They've signed Nico Gonzalez. Probably another midfielder. I'm going to say minimum on top of what they've already spent in January, maybe another 3 or 4. It's a lot. Not quite Man United-esque, but it's, yeah. And also, I don't know, it looks to me as if it's really getting to the manager. And I think it gets to a point, and Jurgen Klopp was like it at Liverpool, where it just becomes exhausting. And you feel as if there's just no more, you know, my words are a little bit more hollow than they were 3 years ago. And I know he signed this new contract, but I just wonder if he's regretting that. Not because he's a bad manager, but just because he's been there a long time and he's won it all. And maybe it was time to sort of, and if they finish the season, if they start the season next year in the same vein, I could see him just walking away from it, if indeed he doesn't do it before.
3 or 4 players, Craig says there, Frank. What do you think?
I agree. If the players that they already have in hand are capable of going back to their best, and you know, I'm talking about Ruben Dias, for example. I mean, the guy was simply, for me, one of the best defender in the world. I don't recognize him. So that kind of player, has to come back to his best. But I really think as well that Guardiola has to wonder if he should stay or not. I think if he should rest or if he needs another challenge. And also because of a new manager, and we see that with Liverpool, you put the players on their edge. And they need to focus a little bit more, don't sit on their past, and go forward in order to show to the new coach that they deserve to be here still. That's why maybe it's not the case right now, because they know the coach is maybe not there to challenge them, and it's why that doesn't match.
When you have a teammate, I'll ask you both this, as unreliable as Darwin Nunez in front of goal, do you pass him the ball when you have the opportunity to shoot yourself and score?
Well,
are you thinking about those things in the moment, or is it just too fast?
Well, I think we referenced in the show that had I been Szoboszlai, I'm thinking scoring myself. Now, I don't criticize the fact that he lays the ball off to a guy who's going to hit a shot into an open goal. Should have been a goal from Darwin Nunez's perspective. But if I'm Szoboszlai, it doesn't matter who's to my left. I'm thinking I got to score this goal. But that would have been the perspective of a striker instead of a guy who's more of a playmaker.
I don't think you think like that, to be
Right.
honest. It just happens so quickly, and you see something that's you think is a better option, and you select it, and then it's down to the player. You know what I mean? So I don't think, certainly not, I wouldn't be thinking that way. You get frustrated once it happens and the players miss chances, but I don't think that would happen.
Craig, is it time to bring in Big Sam or Harry Redknapp to steady the ship at Manchester City?
Wow. Wow.
Well, I don't understand the Harry Redknapp one, because Harry Redknapp is a manager I always admired. His team's always played great football, did a very good job at Tottenham and at West Ham, amongst other places. I've always really, not that I didn't admire Sam Allardyce, but there's a completely different way of going about it. What he did at Manchester, I think people forget what Sam Allardyce did at Bolton. He had, who was a big centre-half that played at Real Madrid, went to Bolton? Herrera?
No. You're the guy with the big hair.
No.
Morientes?
What, Fernando Hierro?
Fernando Herrera.
Oh, Fernando Hierro.
Fernando Hierro, JJ Okocha. He took all these players to Bolton, you know. Played some great... But obviously, later on in his career, he was very kind of defensive-minded. But both those guys, in different ways, had a lot of success. But none of them going to Man City.
But if you, just for fun, let's humour it. If you had to put one of them in charge right now at Man City, then who are you putting in? Harry Redknapp?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Harry Redknapp.
Yeah, all right. You like that?
Hold on, did Ivan Campo not play at Bolton?
Ivan Campo,
Yeah. I know,
Yeah.
but I was thinking about Herrera
Yeah.
because was he not the captain of Spain?
Yes.
Yes.
At the time, you know, he was this
Yeah.
big, sort of classy. How the hell do you go from Real Madrid to Bolton?
Up to Bolton.
Indeed, if it was a straight pigeon flight, I don't know. But you know, JJ Okocha,
The Big Sam
Gary
effect.
Huh?
The Big Sam effect, the charm,
Gary
you know?
Speed, the late Gary Speed was a terrific player. All these great players under Allardyce at Bolton. I think people forget that.
Kevin
Kevin Davies.
Yes. Kevin Davies, I remember that team. That team got beat by Middlesbrough in the only cup they ever won in the
Oh,
final.
you've always got to swing it back.
It was Let me have it, Frank. Let me have it. At least we won one final. It's just it wasn't against Chelsea. It was against Bolton. All right. Okay.
Okay,
That's it.
fair enough.
That's all we've got time for on the latest.
She goes, I remember that team. Kevin, I remember that team. Kevin.
Yeah. Frank, we're going to let you go to bed now. Thanks for being with us.